welcome to Active Citizens Parliament over here on Active Citizens. I am Sharon Chuku, your host. Joining me live in the studio, I have with me Miss Ifoma Oji. Good evening, how are you doing? Okay, we're saying no words today, I understand. But going straight to the stories we have for this evening. First, the fuel subsidy debate is back. The claim is that the president did not remove subsidy, he only announced it. Nigerians are asking a simple question: if subsidy wasn't removed, why then was the fuel prices increasing overnight? Was it policy, process, or politics? And we move over to the second story, where the Kanu murder case is taking a disturbing turn. The father of the suspect says his son is useless to society and deserves maximum punishment, alleging the same son also killed his own sister. It raises hard questions about justice, family responsibility, mental health, and the limits of parental loyalty. And finally, the Makoko demolition in Lagos. The state government says residents built shanties under high-tension power lines and that the demolition was done to protect lives. Critics say it's another case of the poor paying the price without proper alternatives. These are not just headlines. They are about governance, safety, justice, and how power affects everyday Nigerians, and we're getting into the conversation. Now, the full subsidy debate is something that is quite shocking, even for me when I saw this news. I'm seeing that now they've come out to say an EPC chieftain in person of Abiodun has come out to say that President Tinubu did not actually remove subsidy, but what he did was to announce it and that the government was still paying subsidy. But does that make sense to you?
If they didn't remove subsidy, what then happened in May 29th? What then happened? These people have constantly made Nigerians look like we are fools and we are stupid. Imagine the point, or during the time they removed fuel subsidy, that should be in 2023, when the president Bola Ahmed Tinubu resumed office. It was one of the first thing he did when he resumed office, and we saw how life became extremely devastating and hard for Nigerians. And if that was not fuel subsidy that caused that more or hardship in Nigeria, what exactly did that? I really want to know, since Abiodun is saying that they didn't remove fuel subsidy. All this thing is all about political optics. All this thing is more like a agenda cooked up by some certain individuals just to secure their run for 2027 election. Because if it is not, what exactly it is it? You get, but it's quite sad. But like I said earlier, if they say that they did not remove the fuel subsidy, then what was removed, and why did Nigerians' lives become harder?
And that is what Nigerians are asking, and that is really what is baffling. I don't even know why an APC chieftain would come out to say that the president did not remove subsidy when there are videos on the internet to oppose that, coming from the horse's mouth, even coming from the president, saying that the reason why they removed subsidy was because they were trying to balance the economy and the Nigerians were going to see the benefits in the long run. There are videos that attested that, and him coming out to say this, I'm really confused. Is he calling the president a liar? That's one. Then number two, if he did not remove subsidy and the government is actually still paying subsidy, what was now the whole point of announcing it in the first place? What did they try to achieve? Now that he has come out to announce this, and personally speaking, I don't think that is his office to do so, but let's say the APC people, because he's an APC, they have an understanding and whatnot. Let's say that this is part of their agreement, right? They've had a conversation about this and they agreed that they were going to go about to announce to the public that there really was no subsidy. My question is really, why did it have to be him? It didn't come from Bayo Onanuga or Daniel Bwala or the rest. We're hearing this from an APC chieftain, and it's just really confusing, right? Because Ifoma, you said they are trying to score political points.
Yeah.
What point do you think they have scored by saying that that the government did not really remove subsidy?
I said number one, that they take Nigerians as fools, and then number two, I said if they didn't remove that, what exactly or how did Nigeria's lives become, more impoverished? And why is the price of fuel, why did it skyrocket? Because if you say you did not remove fuel subsidy, we should be seeing fuel around, we should be hearing that fuel price is around 200 and something naira or 300 and something naira, as it were in Goodluck's administration. So if that didn't happen, why is price of fuel up to like 1,000 naira or more? We really need to know that. And adding to what you asked, I think, like I said earlier, the third point I'm trying to make here is, apart from them scoring political points, all this thing is geared towards 2027 election, and Nigeria is giving them opportunity to clench that seat. So they are ready to come out and say anything at all for Nigerians to swallow, and then give them that position for 2027. Because if not, what else?
All right, so now you're saying that this is all political optics, and it is just because they're trying to score political points in the long run. And then people are coming out to say that they've been very confused with this particular statement from the APC chieftain, coming out to say this in the public during an interview. And now people are now asking, right, now that he said that there was no subsidy removal, but a lot of state governments came out to attest to the fact that there was increased federal allocations because of subsidy removal. What exactly is going on? Now, we've established the fact that it seems as though the Nigerian government is taking us for fools. But also, if we had a subsidy, or if the government really was paying for subsidy and they were able to get increase federal allocations to state, how were they able to do that? And if all of this is a lie, why would the APC chieftain come out to make such claims if he knows it would sabotage the image of the president?
Sharon, I think the question that you're equally asking me is the question that I should be asking him, because it doesn't really make sense. But at the end of the day, maybe we try to see if that will make sense, because if the federal government is or has removed the fuel subsidy, and the revenues or the monies that have been coming out from this fuel subsidy removals, where exactly are this money is going into? Because if the money is literally going into other sectors, we should be hearing it should be translating into the lives of Nigerians, but we are not seeing anything like that. So if you're asking me this question, if you have to ask me, just like Omaomi sang in her song, who do I ask? Who I go ask exactly? So I think it's the chieftain that is supposed to give us an answer to this question, because it's the audacity for me.
Accountability, they deserve to understand. And to be honest, during that interview, I just really wish that there was an opening for people to maybe call in and ask questions, because if I was in that scenario, I would really be very lost and very confused. Now, talking about a really confusing story, it is really the next one we're discussing, where yesterday, this is a continuation, an update to what we discussed yesterday. Yesterday we talked about the Kanu murder, where a mother and 6 kids were killed, and one of those suspects is her nephew. Now the suspect has been arrested and is being questioned. Now we're seeing that the father of said suspect has come out to say that they are willing to and they are ready to give up that boy up for maximum punishment, as he is of no good to society. Even went as far as accusing that he also killed his sister. Now, it's as though what we are looking at is a serial killer that has been on the loose for a long time, and we just didn't know it. Now, we have a young guy, and if you see the picture of this boy, he doesn't look anything older than 26, 20. He looks quite young. And to be able to have a perpetrator describe, we know that this is beyond being heartless. This is now demonic. This is a different level of wickedness, where you kill 6 children and the mother one day.
Now, this is not the only act that he has committed. He obviously has committed so much more that the father is ready, is tired. I'm sure if they give the father the right to end this boy's life, he would not think it wise.
Exactly.
But do you see the part of this? Do you see any part that the society has played in allowing this boy flourish in with his serial killings?
Okay, first of all, I'm going to make a prayer, and it's just for every young lady out there, including you, Sharon, that our womb will never bear such an atrocity.
Honestly.
Because I really can't fathom how this boy is able to commit these crimes. Let's not even talk about the fact that he was undetected while carrying out this crime, but how he was able to sit down and orchestrate and plan how he will take lives, multiple lives. And these incidents that happened now, killing 6 children including the mother, shows you that it's not today that he started.
He's a pro
in it.
Yes,
you understand. This one is more like the one that the public got to hear about. What about the ones that are hidden, that he has committed? I'm talking about if society really was aware, or if society played a role. I don't really think society has a role to play here. I don't know how much I can explain this. Sometimes people are bound to be or behave a certain way or turn out a certain way, even regardless from the moment they are born. Now, there are some people that are what should I say, inherit a certain trait of maybe their forefathers. So maybe there is this particular trait where the forefather was a serial killer. Because Sharon, see, this thing is not making sense.
Or what if this is a mental health issue?
Something like that too. It's something like that too. But if society have a role here, I can't really say. But it's a fact that he was able to commit these crimes, and the parents couldn't come out to say, okay, the police need to apprehend my son. This is the crime that he has committed, or he has been committing over the years. The father, because of the fact that finally the police have already arrested him, you now remembered, oh, he is useless to society. Jail him, kill him. You understand?
You thought they should have done more.
But this goes a long way to show you a father who is literally tired of the son's existence. And I'm going to say this: one, there might be what should I say, explanations that the father tried as much as possible to see if the son can turn a new leaf, and at the end of the day it didn't happen. And there might actually be should I say, explanation to that he was enabling the son, because if he had related this particular issue to the police agencies or the anti-graft agencies, they would have maybe taken him to correctional service, and maybe they had rehabilitated him. Yes, and this particular incident would have been avoided. But this is where we are, and I hope, like I said earlier when we discussed it yesterday, that the processes of his prosecution should be made public, because this is such a grave crime.
It's a devastating crime, to say the least. But there is something that you said that I really want us to ponder on a little as we close. It is the fact that you said that it might have been that the father had hopes that he would turn a new leaf. Now, when you see a child growing up, making mistakes, doing certain things, causing havoc, perpetrating social vices, there is always that room for improvement. But at what point, where do you draw the line and say there is no hope for this person? Where does it have to get to? Because if you're saying, yes, I do get that people change, and that is why they go to prisons and they correct and all of that. But if you're saying, this man had the hope that his son is going to change after he had killed his sister, and I'm sure after he killed his sister, this is his blood, right? This person is just even a relative. This person that he killed was his sister, and there are other things he probably must have done before then or after then. At what point do you think, as a parent, we should draw the line when our kids start misbehaving? God forbid, not our kids, but
this particular, like I said when I was talking, this crime didn't just start in a day. It's something that he has been doing, or it didn't start recently. It's something that he has been doing and developed and became a pro in it. And from the time that he was growing, I believe that the father was seeing all these signs that, this son or his son could actually become something more dangerous to the society. And he was focused on spoiling the child and sparing the rod. That was exactly what he was doing, because if he had spared the rod earlier and not spoiled the child, would have seen more positivity from the part of the child. But because of the fact that some parents have this what's it called, kind of bond with their children, or this love and care, they forget that when you allow that love supersede training a child the way he should go, so that when he grows up he can actually equally other people can equally emulate from them. This is when we see half-baked children, or children that are not even deserving of living or existing in the society. But a situation whereby we know that you're seeing that your child is becoming a certain kind of human being, maybe because of the fact that he was exposed to content on social media or TV, the kind of movies that watch, all those things. Yes, there is no parental control, and you're seeing the kind of friends that he follows is curtailing. That is actually the main bone of contention here. You weren't able to do that, and that is when the whole thing has gotten out of hand. You are now using the child, saying that the child is useless to society, that he should be executed or terminated, when you are actually to be blamed in the first place. So let's equally, in as much as we are blaming a child, let's equally take the blame ourselves.
That as parents, we are responsible for how our kids would turn out, and at the end of the day, we'll be the ones to be questioned when anything either goes well or goes wrong in their lives. But this is really an unfortunate incident, and it's one that I don't know if it is something that the family of the woman and her 6 kids would ever recover from. But even as we wrap up the conversation, we're still talking about what is going on in our states and in our cities. We're looking at what happened yesterday in Makoko, where the houses were demolished, and we saw people protesting and calling on the state government. Now, the Lagos state governor, in person of Governor Sanwo-Olu, has come out in response to that, and we're going to take a look at what he's saying. And when we do, we'll come back to the studio and have a full-on conversation. Let's have a look.
Interest will it be for government to want to unduly demolish anybody's? What interest? If it is not for the overall safety of these citizens that we're talking about. A lot of these people have built the shanties. I'm not talking about, poor and vulnerable people, but we have responsibility to also protect you. Build shanties right under the high tension wire, and the regulation is there that you need to clear between 150 to 250 away from the regulation line. So what we're doing is that we're not demolishing the whole of we're clearing people not to get to Tomelambi and to stay off behind the high tension. We're aware that there are some local and international NGOs that want to profit from this. We're studying and we're going to show you evidences. They've made so much money from international people, and that they've asked for so much grant and wealth into those places, and it's just for them to cover their own lies and the fact that they've not done what they said they were going to be doing. That's why they're all shouting and crying more than the bereaved. And we're here to face them and to let them see the reasons why we have to do what we're doing. And I've also given instruction that whatever additional support we can give to them. We've been on this for 2.5 years. We have evidence, we have videos, we have communication that we've done for them for 2.5 years. 2.5 years.
State governor, and there are different points that he raised. One of that being that there are NGOs who have been making money off of the bad situation in Makoko, getting grants and all of that from international organizations, and also the fact that he is not demolishing the entire Makoko, but areas where places that were built on high tension lines, and they're trying to protect the lives of Lagosians, and all of this, he said, in accordance to the video we just watched now, is all in a bid to ensure that the lives are protected, and people, and it don't get all the way to it doesn't get all the way to Third Mainland Bridge and all. But in continuation to what we were saying yesterday, what do you make of that video?
Yeah, I think it was really beautiful to see that the governor of Lagos State came out to clear the public, because that, I believe, garnered a lot of reactions.
Yes.
I mean, for us to discuss it on one of our shows, I love the fact that he came out to clear the air. This is one thing that we look forward to, the leaders that govern us provide accountability, provide clarity for Nigerians. This is what we crave for. And as regards that, he equally mentioned, if you watch that video from beginning to end, he said in one of the videos that safety was actually paramount, that is because of the fact that people were living in high tension areas, that he wanted to clear that place. And not just that he has instructed authorities to provide palliative relief for those people, and resettlement too, for relocating to relocate those people that were affected by that demolition. So this is somebody that have explained exactly why he was doing what he did. And he probably mentioned the incident that happened today, where we discussed about the tanker that spilled over fuel, and people were scooping fuel. And he talked about the fact that he equally sent first-hand responders to go and disperse people from the location, and the main point or bone of contention was to save lives and to protect the lives of people. And for me, I think it was how intentional he was about concerning the responding to that particular thing, incident that happened, that would have caused a lot of casualties or a lot of deaths. So I think it's the same thing that he's trying to do in this area of Makoko, and it's really beautiful to see. I love the fact that this thing, like I said earlier, he has provided palliative for them, but I just don't want it to be something that he'll just say to justify what happened. Let it truly be that he will enforce that.
All right. And I also do appreciate it when politicians, people who hold public offices, come out and they are transparent, and not just being transparent, right? It is the fact that they're open with communication, carrying everybody along as to what exactly is going on. Because with the era of social media, with how great it is, we can't deny the fact that news spread very fast, and it is hard to contain news. So the best that you can do is to make sure that it is the best news that is spreading. It is the right news that are actually correct and verifiable. So him coming out in the office as governor of Lagos State to explain what exactly and why exactly that is happening, I think has solved a lot and settled a lot of confusions as to the videos that we saw prior to now. Anyways, we have to call it a wrap on the conversation today. Thank you very much to you, our VIP viewers, for viewing, liking, sharing, and subscribing as well. If you're yet to subscribe, this is the best time to do that. Please follow us across all social media at Active Citizens. Till we see you tomorrow, do have a good evening.